What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Jesus Coin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Let's get into it without any wasting time at all. I might be wrong about this one, you guys, and not in the way that I was expecting. Right? I was expecting that we would go lower, that we would see prices potentially lower than this, right? And ever since I made that call, we've actually just been moving up. We've been having a merry time. We're not doing anything yet to completely invalidate me. We're right at that edge of invalidation, and that's why it's pretty easy for me to be shaking in my boots as far as if I'm going to be right or wrong in the idea of this thing going lower. But I'd love to be wrong, man. I would absolutely love. I think I speak for all of us in the Jesus Coin community. I would love to be wrong. Generally, you get overbought like this, or oversold like this. I would have thought you kept going. Each time that we've been oversold before. Right when we get oversold, we tend to push a little bit lower, like each time. But we didn't here, at least not immediately. Interesting, kind of different, right? 4-hour RSI was looking bearish as hell, like all the reasons to go down, and it just didn't. Which makes me think, even though we haven't broken this, at the risk of jinxing it, I don't think I have that much power, guys, to jinx it, right? I know a lot of people, we want to think that we're special and that just because we said something or did something, that means that our sports team is going to win or lose or our coin's going to move up or down. But I don't think I'm that significant. I don't think I'm jinxing it by saying I think we've found our low. I think I'm calling it. I'm not jinxing it. I'm making a call, guys. And there's a difference, right? There's absolute difference, right? This isn't from a gut feeling. I mean, kind of from a gut feeling, I suppose, a little bit, but mainly from TA's sake, right? I just said it here. You had all the reasons. I was just making a video. I forget which coin it was that I was talking about. Was it Jasmine? No, it might have been a different one. Might have been Bitcoin Cash, but I was saying something like you had all the reasons to go up, but you just haven't yet. So if you can't, that means we might go down, right? Generally speaking, whenever you're in this oversold zone, if you have all the reasons to go down, but you're just not doing it, that tends to mean you're going to go up, right? You've got all the weakest readings, all the reasons to go down. You've been in the oversold zone under the 50 for a predominant amount of time. You have gone down, sure, and continued to go down. But then here, right here, and this time, you just couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. In fact, your volume died off actually as you're moving lower. So it just seems a bit different. Even your readings now seem a bit different than they have throughout this whole time. It seems like you're showing some strength, especially with this 4-hour candle here. So a lot of volume there. I'm making the call. I think I was wrong. I think we are going to move up from here. I think the Jesus coin low is in. We're at 60127 right now. Next target, and probably by the end of this month, if not by the end of January, I would think by the end of this month, we're somewhere at 6053 to 6037, somewhere in that range. That is our previous all-time high area. If we do break above our all-time highs, well, we're not going to stop here. We're going to go to that next leg up, which would be at 5011 or higher, right? And I do expect that we will go higher. We'll absolutely pursue higher prices, but will that be by the end of this month of December? You know, at the rate that we've been growing so far, I don't know if I'd expect that. I expect maybe by the end of the month we hit a high, consolidate a little bit. Sometime in January we go in and have our next move up. That's kind of my expectation, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But all that to say, you know, if you've been eyeballing Jesus Coin, you're waiting for it to go lower like I was, but it just didn't go lower. I'm loaded up on Jesus Coin, by the way. I'm a top 200 wallet holder, in case anybody didn't know. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying I've got enough Jesus Coin. I did not miss the boat. If you missed the boat's still here. It hasn't taken off yet, but it's probably going to go up a nice 250% to 320, 340% up from here by the end of the year. That's my thoughts. And the only thing that I would say to this is that I could be underestimating it. This is Jesus Coin. This is a low market cap coin, and there are a lot of strong diamond hand, ironclad diamond hand holders in this community. I could be underestimating it. It could really blow up a lot. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I don't know. You know, you think about this coin, it might sound silly. I'm just going to kind of end the note on this, and let me clarify, right? The first time I heard of this back here, right, it was like somewhere back in this area. I didn't buy until we were down here, right? But I got lucky. That was just pure luck. It made sense because that was the only kind of price action we had. It kind of made sense. But and I had George heckling me to get into it also. Shout out to George on that note. And Felton Alves. He's the first person to actually put this on my radar, but George is probably the reason why I bought. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was going to say that the first time I got into, or that I heard of Jesus Coin, I thought, okay, it's kind of silly, but at the same time, I could see it. That's a great name. That's a great name for a crypto to have. That's a name that will stand out, especially a meme coin. It's perfect. And then like anybody, you're like, okay, but it's probably just some dumb coin, like whatever. It's going down. I didn't give up on it. I actually did my research. A lot of people see something go down and they're like, oh, glad I didn't buy that thing. This thing sucks. You know what I mean? But I'm like, it's going down. Maybe it's at a good area to buy. Maybe I should do my research. And people would tell me about it. And, I'd kind of pass it off a little bit here and there. But then I did some research and looked into it. And I'm like, okay, this isn't just some kind of joke coin. Somebody did not make this coin because they're like, oh, Jesus, that's a great name. That'll stand out and get people's attention and sucker in the Christians. We'll just make money off the name itself. That was not the intention behind it. The intention is actually true to what I think most Christians would probably would deem as acceptable, right? Is that this coin, it's bringing Christian brothers and sisters together. It's bringing people together over faith, right? Over the shared faith that they all have, right? Through means of crypto. You've just digitalized your religion in a certain respect, right? But obviously not. Your religion is very real, and that's what I'm trying to get at is with the whole Jesus Coin community. This coin, it's more than just a coin. It really is a community. And it sounds so cliche because that's what every coin, whether it's a meme coin or not, that's what they say. But this is real and genuinely is real because it's backed by more time than what it says here, right? This is a religious coin. It's before its existence, there's people that came together over their same ideologies, beliefs in Jesus Christ, and they broke bread together. They got along. They set up communities through this. This coin's just facilitating that, right? It's facilitating that, and I think it really does have a bright future. And the thing that got me off on this whole tangent in the first place was Maker Lee said something earlier today, which again, what started this thought was this thought of when I first heard about Jesus Coin, I thought that's kind of silly, but then you think about it more, and you're like, okay, it's actually maybe not that silly. This actually is pretty serious, and people are taking it seriously and treating it seriously and not blaspheming. It's actually a real thing. Maybe I should give it a chance. Maybe I should look into it, right? Same thing like what Maker Lee said over here. He was saying something like, can you imagine when all like the billions of Christians in the world use Jesus Coin as a means of transacting within their own communities? I heard that and I'm like, that's a nice dream. It sounded a little silly to me at first, but then I think about it. I'm like, hold on, let's run with the idea here. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying I don't think it's impossible, and it's probably maybe not as unlikely as it might seem. I wish I could actually, let me see if I can find it so I can not paraphrase, but like get a direct quote actually. Where are you at, Maker? Let's go. Come on here. There you are, Maker Lee. What'd you say here? By the way, I like the profile pic. That's sick. Very sick NFT there. Imagine being the first Tier 1 exchange to list Jesus and publicly stand in unity with 2 billion Christians around the world. That's not it. I saw that. That's nice. I like that too. I like the promotion there. Let's see. Hold on. What? Maybe it was that. Maybe it was that. I don't know. I thought I saw something else. I'm just going to scroll through and see. Maker posting all these things, man. Let's see. Retail, super cycle predictions. Maybe not. Maybe it's not what I thought it was. Okay, but nevertheless, it promoted this idea in my head, right? And I'm sure a lot of you in Jesus Coin, you probably already have this idea. But it's something on the lines of this here, which is like the unity of 2 billion Christians around the world, right? Obviously, the majority of Christians do not own Jesus Coin. But here's where I got this is where I'm going to make my point. I'm sorry I brought you on this whole long talk to just make this very simple point here is that every single person that I know or that I've come into contact with that's bought Jesus Coin, or maybe you heard of Jesus Coin at first, I shouldn't say every single person. The majority of people are skeptical at first, myself included. You hear people say, oh, it might be blasphemous, or it is blasphemous, right? And they all say this. But then they actually look into the community. Then they actually see what it's about. And then they're like, oh, this is the real deal. Like just like me and probably any of you that have bought this, right? You thought it was silly at first, you thought it was weird, but then you're like, oh, and it is silly, right? Look at it, that's silly, that's great. It's a little, it's kind of funny, but it's real too. Like it's a genuine desire, and maybe they do have Jesus on their shoulder. I don't know. If they do, then we're gonna get some Jesus coin on their exchange here pretty soon. But and just because you're Christian does not mean you're forbidden to have a sense of humor. But this is not what Jesus coin's about, right? It's not about a sense of humor. It's about camaraderie. It's about bringing people together. And you guys did your own thing, making crypto church and everything. You guys really did build a community out of it. Every person that comes into Jesus coin really believes and connects with the community. You can't be in Jesus coin without connecting with the community. Unless you're just a straight outside speculator, you want no involvement in, that's your own choice. But this community is very welcoming. It's very open arms kind of engagement. And you guys are all about Jesus coin. What I thought I remembered reading earlier is not exactly what I remembered reading earlier, but the idea that this put in my head was, imagine 2 billion Christians using Jesus coin one day. Imagine tapping into that market of 2 billion Christians. And you hear that at first and you're like, no, they're not all going to accept Jesus coin. But that was you at first. You wouldn't have accepted Jesus coin at first, right? You thought it was silly. You thought it was all these things, but then you looked into it and now you're gung-ho. You're gung-ho. You have faith. You believe in it because it is a thing driven and based off of the very faith that you have in the first place. And it's a community that is encompassed. It's a total safe place and very just welcoming place for those same beliefs and ideologies. I'm trying to get to it. I'm really trying to get to this point, guys, is that, yeah, one day, maybe not all 2 billion Christians around the world use Jesus coin, but what if one day Jesus coin really was like a peer-to-peer Christian token? They got Christian dating sites. They got Christian schools. Right? There's Christian sports teams, Christian bands. Why not a Christian crypto coin? Why not a Christian form of money? And it literally is controlled by you guys and owned by you guys. And there is the mishap with the upbringing and everything, right? With Maker and the developers. I don't even know all the other developers. I don't know how many developers there were. I just know there were more developers than just Maker who started Jesus coin. I believe he's the only one, if not one of the only ones to stick around. They didn't set aside coins for themselves. It was a fair launch coin. They set coins aside for the liquidity pool. There were coins that were supposed to go to them, but they never did. They messed some things up, and that's okay. Mistakes happen. That doesn't mean that you can't exceed because of your mistakes. But all these mistakes happened unintentionally, and it kind of actually made this coin what it is, and it made it better. It gave it a platform that made it more decentralized and made it more fair to the average person. There's a reason why the devs that made it left, right, and Maker Lee stuck around, is because those guys, they didn't get their fair share. Maker Lee's like, I don't care if there weren't any coins allocated to me. He believed in the project. He believed what it's about. And shout out to Maker Lee on that note for just really helping this community grow into what it is and giving Jesus coin the chance to breathe and actually become something more than just a meme, man. Like become basically, I think, what it was always set out to be. And I don't know. I didn't expect to go on this long of a rant for Jesus coin tonight, guys, but I don't know if it'll go to the heavens. I don't know if we'll see a 1000x this cycle. I don't know if it'll be here in 10 or 20 years. It might be, but it's got a solid chance. And a lot of meme coins don't. A lot of meme coins don't have a chance to be here for more than a cycle, for more than a season. This coin has not just a chance, but I would say a probability of growth cycle after cycle. Because the people that are a part of this coin community, you guys suffered through the worst shit for the longest amount of time. You suffered through it before that even. And you only stacked more and built more. And this community has only grown, right? You're going to lose people, of course, with every drawback. But on the next drawback, we're going to have more people with diamond hands stacking. We're going to have more people coming in and waiting for the next pump. However many people leave, there will be more coming in. And most people that do come in, they don't leave because it's like a testament to your faith almost, right? Like that's why so many of you that's why this coin has so much value, I think, is because of the community, because of the conviction that everybody has when buying this thing, right? I don't know. I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't know how much sense I made. I don't know if I sound like a madman. It's the reason why I saved it for the end of the video, but it was all kind of inspired by this misunderstood. I read it the first time and I thought, he's kind of saying that here, right? Publicly saying you knew 2 billion Christians, but I was remembering it more in my head as something like imagine a world where 2 billion Christians use Jesus coin. That's how I was imagining it in my head, or how I remembered it in my head. But, and again, that thought, which was made up by me, not by Maker Lee. Apparently, I made that thought up. It was inspired by him, but made up in my head. That thought sounded silly to me at first, but then I thought about all the Jesus coin holders and how very just about it you guys are. It's just like I can only see it growing. I can't see it losing. I really can't, right? And look at that, 17,700 holders, man. It's only growing. It's only growing. So I'll see you guys on the next one. I got nothing else to say. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Bye bye. Bye bye bye.